So if you watch this video to the end, I'm going to walk out on that rail bridge out there and just hope there's no trains coming. So this is the mighty Rahue River, Real Railway, Los Lagos region, Chile. The headwaters of this river come out of Lago and I don't know how long this river would be. Maybe I'll put a link at the end of the video or in the description so you can have a look, but maybe 150 kilometers as it winds its way out to the Pacific Ocean. I think it meets up with Rio Bueno first, but anyway, got a couple cool backstories here. When I first come to Chile 20 years ago, and I was working in the office for Manuka, who brought a big farm out here. Well, they brought a whole lot of farms, but they brought one big one out by Lago River that I just mentioned. But anyway, I was share milking about another 10 kilometers up this road, and this back in the day we used to be able to sneak in here, and this is the back way into the city, and we used to come and party a lot in here and then drive back home 3-4 in the morning, chase those Latin girls around before I got married, obviously. So quite a majestic river. But anyway, so I've brought the horse out for a ride. There it is there, and I'm doing a bit of training on the new bike. So if you've been watching my content, I've got like 10 days left for training and putting my kit together before I head up to the desert, Atacama Desert, driest desert, unforgiving desert. And I'm doing a loop up there, just under 1,000 kilometers. My first idea was to do 2,000, but I don't have enough time, so I've shortened the route. I start at sea level, I fly into Antofagasta, and I cycle for a couple of days up via Calama and then into San Pedro de Atacama, which is interesting because one of the passes up there I get to 3,500 meters or 3,600 meters above sea level. Just to put into context for some of the Kiwis watching this, like Mount Cook in the South Island, our highest peak is 3,700 meters. So she's up there, be awesome. And I'm away for 2 weeks, do a loop back down through the middle of these salt flats where they're mining a whole lot of lithium, and there's a whole lot of mineral mines up there too. Anyway, part of the backstory is I've always wanted to walk out on that bridge and I've never done it, so I'm going to go do it now. Now we've had, today's the 10th of March, and we've had like 100 mils of rain in the first few days of March, so the river's a bit murky, but normally down here you can see a few guys fishing. And as I just said, we're early March and the salmon start running up these rivers end of the month and in April, so I won't get time to go fishing before I head up to the desert, but when I get back we'll go out and see, because about another 50 kilometers upriver here I've got a friend farming, and he farms on the back of the farm of this river, and they go fishing a bit and they pull in a few salmon. So here we go. Anyway, I'm going to go over there, see if I can walk out on that bridge. There'll be no trains. The rail network here is still in working order, but down in the south here they don't have a rail system for passengers, and even very little freight comes in and out of here. Once upon a time I guess it would have been busy, because at the end of town here that I just come through, it's quite a cool part of town, old part of town, is an old industrial park where, you know, the trains used to pull in and out of. There's a few mills there, there's an old processing plant of Nestle there, and it would have been bustling in its day. Hey, there's a couple cool old houses too on the road. I mean, I I don't often cycle through that part of the city, but there's a couple of cool old towns, old houses that I will get some video footage of. Interesting style, maybe 100 years old or older, and it's just a cool part of town really. Anyway, here we go. So wait, I've had the bike now for a couple of weeks. I've been trying to smash out a bit of training before I head up to the desert. Of all the cycling trips I've done over the years, I never get to do enough training because I always decide last minute, oh right, I'm going to pack up, head off, try and fit it in with Catherine and the girls that I'm not away too long, and I never get to train enough. But I've ticked off about 300 kilometers in the last 10 days or so, and so I'm feeling good for this ride. I'm going to lock my bike up over there on that fence. So here we are. I'm not sure if this is a good idea or not, but can't get the little kid out of me. Always wanted to do it. Now, quite often I see under the bridge, well not often, every now and then when I'm out training on the bike, I come this way for a ride, because there's a nice loop out to the back out to the Ruta Cinco and then back into the city, about a 40k loop, and it's a good nice quiet ride. Anyway, quite often I see the emergency services training under this bridge, abseiling down and training to pull bodies out of the river, whatnot. They painted this bridge and it looks like upgraded all these railway sleepers maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Anyway, here we are. As I've said earlier, quite often you see guys fishing out here, but there's a bit of water in the rain. We don't normally get this much rain this time of year. So what, 10th of March, we're at 100 mils already. It's good for the farming. It's growing a bit of grass out there on the farm. Set up the autumn and the winter. Right, I'll head back now. Can say I've done it. Interesting, the two different widths of train track here. I just had a flashback of watching what's the name of that movie, those kids? Stand By Me. The old trains coming and they're running along the tracks. Anyway, pretty cool. Right, I'm going to jump back on the bike, head back into the city. I'm only 12-13 kilometres out of the city. It's not far. I should actually do the full loop, but I've got to go get the girls from school. And I guess one day would be a good walk actually, would be to follow this all the way into Osorno. Anyway, I'm actually meant to be out on the bike training, not doing this, but here we are. And I'm meant to be training. It's become more of a leisurely ride now, isn't it? After going on that bridge. And when I get back to the edge of town, we'll have a look around a little bit of this old industrial park. It's pretty cool. These old barns here are cool looking, aren't they? Wouldn't say too many animals are loaded out of there recently, but it still gets used. Check that old house out in there. So wait, this here is a typical style of design of an old Chilean farmhouse. I might even be able to sneak in there and have a look. High, steep roof. Now the style of these houses, would have been cold as fuck. Holy shit. Probably an old German style, because most of these houses here, most of the old landowners from more traditional like Chilean have been with German heritage. Germans started coming over to this part of Chile a couple hundred years ago, and obviously there was more after World War II. We all know what happened there, we heard the stories, and into Argentina. Look at this old, it's a Chilean oak, I think. Interesting anyway. Should we go look in the window? Don't want to touch or listen to that, it's like a horror film. Don't want to touch anything here. There's old places like these will be loaded with rats, and the rats here have got a virus, Hunter's virus. We don't have it back in New Zealand, but have it here. And if you get infected with that, you've got to be fairly healthy to beat it. There's no cure for it. You just end up in ICU for a while. I think it has an impact on your respiratory system. And actually, there is someone I know who got it, and he flew straight up to Santiago to the city to get better care and survived. Someone lives in there. I trust you. Trust me. So I'm right on the end of Osorno. Pretty hard living around here. Way up there over in the distance you can see one of the water towers. So way back there where I rode past the water supply, it pumps it to these big towers, then it's gravity fed around town. Fairly hard living down there, cold in the winter. This is the same style of house. We just had a look at the abandoned on the farm there, but this one's probably someone's resident still living in it. Which is interesting because these apartment towers were started, construction was started maybe 6 months before COVID back in 2000, and then got abandoned, so either the company went broke or something, I don't know, but they haven't been finished anyway. That's a crazy thought, but these are the parts of cities globally that I reckon are good buys, good money for value. Because what you're buying for is the location for 20, 30 years time, right? All over the world, everywhere. Wharfs, train stations, old industrial parks are getting developed, getting upgraded. So much for my training day. Here we are, going for a ride through the edge now. This old place over here is an example of what I was talking about earlier, of these old places. You imagine being a fly on the wall, this place 20 years ago, no, 50, 60 years ago. probably has seen a few earthquakes by the looks of that. That's the school in there. Over here is, I'm not sure if I'm allowed in here, but quick look won't hurt. So this is an example of an old industrial zone. This is getting close to the old railway station too. I'll put a link on at the end of this, because I've done a little content, a little video on the old railway station, which is pretty cool. The roof on these bodegas has seen a better day, obviously. Hey look, here's the back end of one of these old houses here. Just awesome. Hola, buenas tardes. Hey, look at this. Here's the railway line. Well, that's it now. I'm going to put the phone away, pedal through the city. With the phone out, we end up getting run over. Anyway, kind of an interesting video. I was meant to be out training, but we saw a little bit of town, the edge of town. Here's a cut of bananas here. Hey, so if you enjoyed that, interesting, subscribe, like and share it around. And I'll put a couple of links in the description of this part of town, the river, if you're interested in it. Right, hopefully soon you'll be watching me cycle through the desert up north and surviving and coming back to tell the tale.